Hey y'all, Ramdino here. Well, we have got a ton of information for this week's update about what's going on the Appalachian Trail. We've got bear encounters, we got hiker crowds out there on the trail, we got hostile takeovers, all that and much, much more. So we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Let's get started. So what's going on? Well, we got some folks out there that are on the ECT that are heading on in to the AT here shortly. So out back, he has made it to the Pinhoti Trail, and he is, of course, the ECT shares the treadway with the Florida Trail, the Alabama Road Walk, the Pinhoti, the Appalachian Trail, and then continues on up into Canada. So he is on the Pinhoti right now, currently at mile 76. With about 272 miles remaining. He said once he reaches the northern terminus, then he'll be connecting to the Benton MacKaye, which the Benton MacKaye connects to the Appalachian Trail, just trail north of Springer Mountain. So only like a tenth or maybe less right there at it. So he won't be continuing on the Benton MacKaye. He'll be getting on the AT at that point. He says all is well, except he did have a rip in the screen fabric on his tent. So that's not too bad. He's got no injuries. That's all great because he started down in Key West, Florida. Said Tank, his hiking partner, he is a day behind him. They've had beautiful hiking weather this past week, and this week looks like they're going to have great hiking weather. I asked him about the Alabama Road Walk because it just seems weird to have just a trail that's called the road walk, and that's indeed what it is. It is walking on roads. So I'm not much for walking on roads. Kills my plantar fasciitis, but it's about 216 miles through southern and central Alabama. He said it went far better than expected. You know, when you're walking on the road, I get kind of, when a car drives by me, sometimes I'm like, oh God, I hope he don't throw a bottle and hit me in the head or something like that. You just never know, right? Particularly in today's time. But anyway, it takes the hiker mostly through farmlands and rural backcountry roads. There is some highway walking, particularly right around Montgomery, but he said it's totally doable. So he's on the Pinhoti, and when he got on the Pinhoti there at Flag Mountain, he met Nimblewood Nomad. So you may remember Nimblewood Nomad from 2021. He is the oldest thru hiker of the Appalachian Trail at the ripe old age of 83, and now he is back to work down at Flag Mountain where he looks after all the facilities down there. So that was awesome to see him get a chance to meet him and then continuing on north. So folks that are on the Appalachian Trail right now, we got Blaze Dog and Tori. They are loving the trail. This past week's weather, they love that. They said the view from Trey Mountain was amazing, and they'll be crossing over into North Carolina anytime now. The team of Two Beards, who was starting out doing out and backs up in Pennsylvania and trying to get as much of that done as possible, they are through with what they're going to get done up there until they get there, and so they are going back down or going to Springer, and they'll be starting down at Springer here in the next couple days. Sean and Kim, they got on the trail. Mushroom and Pink Hot Dog, they have arrived in Franklin, and they're going to be heading out sometime the beginning of the week and heading for the knock, and they'll not be stopping again until they get to Fontana. They are doing great, they say, and they are having a blast. So everybody out there is loving it, particularly with this great weather we've been having. Throttle, she's around the knock and possibly beyond. She goes so fast it's hard for me to keep up with her. Breeze is crossing the border into North Carolina this weekend, and then we'll be going on to take a couple days off, and then at the Gritter Grove Hostel there in Franklin. And he just says what a beautiful way to start the day 5 crossing into North Carolina. Mischief is somewhere north of Neal Gap. And matter of fact, I think I saw him post a picture from Trey Mountain. He says it's been great so far, and as of today, which was a day or so ago, he had only seen 7 other thru hikers. Radioactive made it to Neal's Gap, said the trail conditions, weather, and fellow hikers he's met are awesome. He's taking a 0 in Helen with his wife before his wife heads on back down to Florida to hold down the fort and to go back to work. So she'd been supporting him, and now he will be on his own. Team Honey Badger, which is the folks of Point 7 in Phoenix, they made it to Grayson Highlands. On the way out, Phoenix slipped and twisted his ankle and pulled a tendon. So bad injury there, limped to the shelter that night, and then got down to the trailhead the next morning. Took some time off, a few days to let it heal, and my understanding is they're going to be getting back on within the next day or so. and they're going to just be taking it slow. Picnic from Germany started from Springer Mountain, and she was number 113. Sam Shaw is through the Virginia Triple Crown and is somewhere around Daleville, probably north by now. Artisan, Rocker, Vicky, and Sarah, they have reached Woody Gap from Springer, and they were enjoying the above the clouds hostel there at Woody Gap. They say the weather's been amazing, blue skies all week, been in the 50s and the 30s. And they said there's been at least 10 hikers at each shelter so far. So that's getting to be max capacity for most of those shelters, if not over that. They didn't say that all those folks were in the shelter, however. So there could be 10 folks, including tenors and stuff there. But it's getting busy already. We're at the beginning of the bubble. Class Act made it to Hawk Mountain. Greg from Maryland started this week, and he is taking a 0 at Fontana Dam. He started at Rock Gap there in Franklin, and then he's going to be heading on out the next day or so to the Smokies. Alias, he's arriving in Fontana Village first of the week and then heading into the Smokies shortly thereafter. Says the views have been amazing these past few days, and also that he has been hiking just with a long sleeve and the shorts on, and he has been plenty warm with that. Old Goat, he did 13.5 miles to get to Unicoi, and then he will be going to Hostel Round the Bend once he hits Deep Gap, and then he'll be heading on into North Carolina. Aquaman, he is out of Vermont, so that is awesome. He is cruising. He is our Sobo hiker. Started out at Katahdin, and he is into Massachusetts now. So he said it's very exciting to be done with Vermont. Didn't have any kind of mud issues, but he was breaking trail and had icy trees blocking the trail. So not only is he breaking through the snowpack that's there, but he's also got stuff down, that hasn't been cleared yet. Said he had his warmest day and night on the trail yet. It was somewhere around in the mid 40s during the day and low 40s to high 30s at night. So that is a huge mental break and a huge boost for his morale. Still running into basically nobody out here. And he only says he runs into a day hiker like every 4 to 5 days or so. And he's getting ready to start switching out his gear now that the nights are no longer in single digits. He's going to be getting some little lighter gear. I asked him about the isolation, how he was doing with that, and he says he's quite used to it by now. It's very peaceful and not very hard most of the day. So I think that he's kind of come into his own there, but he is looking forward to when he intercepts the bubble, getting around the campfire and just the camaraderie and stuff you have with the hiker community. So I know he's looking forward to that. So registrations out there, what's going on with those with the ATC? So right now, it looks like we are up from 2,737 last week. We're at 2,838 NOBO this week. We're up about 3 flip-floppers to 113, and we are up about 5 Sobo to 95. So we have breached the 3,000 mark for folks that are registered. Keep in mind that not everybody registered. Somewhere around 10 to 30% of people don't register. Depends on who you talk to with the ATC, what that percentage is. But in any case, right now we're up from 2,937 to 3,046 folks that are registered. So that's an increase from the last 2 years and really all the years before that. So in 2021, we were at 2,676, and at 2020, this time, and when I say this time, I mean at this time of the year, I went back and looked at my data from my updates from those previous years. So 2021, we were at 2,676. In 2020, we're at 2,130 compared to our over 3,000 we are right now. Approximately 60 to 70 hikers have left this past week out of Amicalola Falls State Park. Called out there and spoke to them about that, and they've had a total of 167 people who have left on their journey north so far this hiker season. What's really incredible is looking at the registrations, we have 13 days that are beyond maxed out. So maxed out means ATC sets the carrying capacity of the trail at 50 hikers, and we are well above that for 13 days and getting real close to have 3 more days it's going to breach that 50 hiker maximum again. And when I say maximum, that doesn't mean that no more hikers will go on the trail. There's one day there's 60 people, several days that are well over 50. So if 100 people show up, they're going to let 100 people register or 100 people hike down there. So, but the max is what the carrying capacity, the ATC sets that at. So April 1st to the 4th, there's 4 days in a row that it's well beyond the maximum capacity. March 29th through April 4th, if you take that 7-day snapshot, there's 336 people starting on that. And if you just kind of take a sampling, once you get into the peak of the bubble there, if you take a sampling of any 7-day period, there's well over 300 people during any given time during that 7-day period. So kind of give you a comparison to previous years of how maxed out the trail was. In 2021, we only had 3 days we were maxed out. Of course, people were still kind of iffy because everything was recovering from COVID. However, I went back and looked at 2018 statistics, and then because that's prior to the pandemic, we were at 7 days that were maxed out. So we're almost twice that, and probably will breach more than twice that here in the next couple weeks. So if you're a thru hiker, you need to be prepared and you're going during the hiker bubble, during one of those times, then you need to be prepared that there's going to be a shortage of bunk space and tent space and just all kind of shortages in hostels and everything else as that bubble moves up the trail. So there's not enough rooms, not enough bunk space, and so you need to go ahead and that's just hostels. That's not including shelters and shelter space. So you need to get to the hostel quick if you plan to get off and stay at one. Just remember, when you have bad weather like cold weather or storms, big storms coming in, everybody or a lot of people get off the trail, and so it's going to be hard to find a spot wherever that bubble is on the trail until it dissipates. People either get off trail or people get off due to injuries, or just for whatever reason people get off, or it kind of spreads out, which normally takes a long time for that to do that. So leave me a comment down below what your idea is of that many people on the trail at one time. Love to, and leave a comment about anything. Love to hear your comments. Love to respond to them. Appreciate everybody who does that. If you like these statistics that I put out, hit that like button, or if you like anything about what I'm putting out here, hit that like button down below. That really helps the channel with YouTube and getting it out to the masses so that we can increase and help the hiker community. So some trail news out there. We do have a hostile takeover at Uncle Johnny's there. Uncle Johnny's has been purchased from Charlotte by Cheetah. Cheetah was a Sobo hiker from 2021. And he said he just loved each of the hostels that he stayed in, even the crummy ones. And he was just determined to purchase and run a hiker hostel, and that's what he did. He bought it from Charlotte. He's owned it since January, and he says that they are doing a lot of work around there. They're currently open, doing a lot of work. They have read all the posts in Far Out and other comments, and they're fixing all the leaks and all the lighting issues and stuff. So he wants to make it a great, great hostel. So check that out. And if you're in the bubble when you come through there, you better check it out quick, because bunk space is going to be at a premium. We did have a reported bear encounter at Blood Mountain Shelter. So a hiker reported that he went into the shelter. He saw a bunch of fruit and other food, and it was kind of trash. Decided he thought better of it. When he came out, he said there was a bear around the corner, and he stumbled and fell and sprained his ankle pretty bad coming out of there. Had to go to the hospital. So I don't know how you get away from a bear with a sprained ankle, I guess very quickly. But in any case, he wasn't actually attacked, but he just fell trying to get away from the bear. I did see on one of Jay's videos, Jay Woo, also Alias is his trail name. I did see on his video where somebody had left just a huge, huge mess in there. Like both rooms of Blood Mountain Shelter had just food and gear and trash in them. And so I don't know what type of person does that. It's not a true backpacker or a hiker. I don't know what it is, but it's very disappointing to see that, particularly in any area, but especially in that area, because that is a known bear habitat. You have to have, if you're going to spend the night in Blood Mountain, you have to have a bear canister there. That's the only place on the trail that it is required. And so this is the reason why we have that. So some short-sighted, lazy people ruin it for everybody. But huge mess was in there. Trail maintainer who looks after Woods Hole had to go up there and clean that out and load everything up and take it out. And there was so much stuff, it took her several loads to get it out. So if you've ever been Blood Mountain, you know that is a steep descent, a steep ascent to get to it. So it took her multiple trips. So kudos to that trail maintainer out there who did that, and all the trail maintainers throughout the trail, but particularly down in Georgia, because Georgia sees all the masses come through there. So 3,000 people will be coming through there, just through hikers alone, not all the day hikers and section hikers and stuff. So kudos to all y'all folks down there that what you do for the trail in Georgia. My source also down in Georgia indicated that this same individual that had the bear encounter also got bitten by a mouse or a rat at Hawk Mountain or Gooch Shelter last year and had to be hospitalized then. So either that's a lot of bad luck or something's going on there. Not sure what it is, but the same person, same individual. So y'all be careful out there. The trail's by and large safe, but you can get hurt. There was a suspicious person reported at Carter Gap Shelter, which is in North Carolina. That's at NOBO mile 93.5, and that's the shelter right before Albert Mountain Fire Tower. There was a group of people that had this sketchy guy that they encountered on the trail, and then he followed them to the shelter site, and then everybody got their tent set up. But he kept messing around in the dark without his headlight on around people's tents and stuff, and so they just got so uncomfortable that they all just packed up and left and night hiked out of there. So the description that they gave of the individual was he carried 100-liter military green sack. So that's a giant backpack. Most people are carrying 50 to 60, so that's a huge backpack. It's a military, and he also had a grocery bag. He said they said a military green sack, so that may actually even be a duffel bag. He wore navy blue Pennsylvania shirt and a yellow safety vest, a hat with a headlight. He's got a military tent as well. His hair is brown and red with a beard. He wore mittens, not gloves, and he mutters to himself and appears to be antisocial. So he didn't have typical thru hiker backpacker gear. It was all heavy duty stuff that you might see for a long time or military surplus. So just keep that in mind, folks, if you see a person like that around there. If anybody has an encounter with a sketchy person like that, now there's always going to be some, not always, but there may be an encounter with somebody. But as long as you don't feel threatened and they're not threatening you, then the best thing to do is just leave. If the hair on the back of your neck standing up or something just seems just not right, then just keep on hiking. There's not a thing wrong in the world with that. Just keep on hiking to the next spot. There'll be a spot on the AT somewhere not too far on up the trail. If somebody's threatening you or something where you really feel like your life is in danger, then you do need to report that person, and there is a means to report that through the ATC. You can go to their website and you'll be able to find that number that you could call for that, or that you could text for that as well. And then we also had a fire on Round Bald, which is at NOBO mile 381.2. It covered about 21 acres. It is out now and under control. The trail wasn't closed, but it is being monitored by the Forest Service. That Round Bald is there in Roan Mountain Highlands, and there's no real trees around there. We hadn't had any lightning storms come through there recently, so my feeling is because it's near Carter Gap, which is where a parking lot is, probably could have been some day hikers or people from town went up on top of Round Bald. Popular spot for people to visit, 360-degree views, but somebody may have started fire and then not put it out before they left. So that bald, because it's there's a lot of wind that blows over it, that could have very well got out of control there as well. So be careful with your fires, particularly on balds, and make sure when you go to sleep at night and when you leave in the morning, that fire is cold out. So borrow water, pour water on it until you can stick your hand in the coals and there is no more heat left there. I'm really needing some more trail angels to sign up for my trail angel list. So I've got a public and a private. If you want to be on the private, then nobody will see that except people I send it to. And of course, the public, people will see it. Mainly those people, though, are going to be folks that are tuning in to this channel and folks that are thru hikers or with the thru hiker community. So, but I am needing some more. We don't have as near as many as I would like to have. Appreciate those folks who have already signed up. And the means to do that is a link down below to that form, and you can go there and then populate yourself to that list. I'm getting ready to head down to Springer tomorrow, going down there to meet some friends that I hiked with on the Foothills Trail. They are starting their through hike, so I'm real excited for them. And then going to get a chance to eat some food from Fresh Ground. Hopefully it'll be edible this time. Not real sure about that, but Fresh Ground is getting on the trail this coming weekend. So I'm going to go out there and taste test what he's got and let him know if he's doing it right or not. All right, folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.